I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You close your eyes, you see the future. You hold the image, you feel it. You try to believe. And then you open your eyes, and nothing has changed. You're still here, in the same body, the same room, the same loop of waiting. You've done what they say, you've visualized. You've pictured the outcome in detail. You've repeated it, felt it, practiced it. So why hasn't it shown up? You start to question yourself. Maybe you're doing it wrong, maybe you don't believe enough. Maybe there's some hidden block you haven't cleared. But here's the truth you haven't been told. Visualization isn't broken. You're just using it as a tool when it was always meant to be a doorway. Most people treat visualization like a trick, a hack, a spiritual vending machine. If I see it enough, I'll get it. If I feel it enough, it will appear. But what if visualization isn't about creating anything? What if it's about collapsing the illusion that it was ever missing? That's where this begins. Because right now, you're chasing a version of your life that you think exists somewhere else, somewhere in the future, somewhere out there. But every time you place it out there, you delay it. You reinforce the gap. You say, "It's not here." You say, "I'll get there someday." You say, "I hope it comes soon." And the moment you say that, the body believes it. The nervous system encodes it. The subconscious makes it true. So you visualize harder, you grip tighter, you repeat the image with more intensity, but all that effort reinforces the same signal, "I am not there yet." And the longer you stay in that frequency, the more the vision becomes a fantasy, something to escape into instead of something to live from. That's the shift. Visualization is not a performance. It is a remembering. It is the moment you stop using your mind to escape your life and start using your body to feel what's already true. Because what you're trying to manifest is not the thing. It's the version of you who lives in full alignment with it. And that version is not far away. That version is not waiting. That version is already breathing, already moving, already speaking underneath the noise of your doubt. You don't need to add anything. You need to subtract the part of you that keeps rehearsing lack. Because when visualization is done from urgency, it delays. When it's done from wholeness, it accelerates. You're not here to chase the dream. You're here to become the one who stopped pretending it was distant. And in the next section, you'll see why this has nothing to do with mindset and everything to do with how you hold yourself in the now. You've been told to visualize the life you want, to see it clearly, to feel it fully, to repeat it until the universe has no choice but to deliver it. And so you do. You picture the money, the love, the body, the freedom. You build it in your mind like a movie set. Every detail sharp, every emotion amplified. But when you open your eyes, the contrast hits hard. Because underneath the image is tension, a quiet panic that says it's not here yet. And your body feels that gap more than your mind does. You may speak the words, "I am abundant, I am whole, I am free." But your nervous system is still wired to the truth you actually believe. It's coming. I'm not there yet. Maybe one day. This is where the breakdown begins, because you're visualizing from separation. You're using the vision as a substitute for presence, as a way to escape what is, as a lifeline to somewhere better. But visualization was never meant to be a lifeline. It was meant to be a mirror. And mirrors don't show you what you want. They show you what you're already becoming. That's the shift. Most people visualize from the outside in. They stare at the image. They try to insert themselves into it. They hope it will pull them forward. But true manifestation begins when the image is no longer something you're reaching for. It's something you're remembering. You're not conjuring a future. You're collapsing the illusion that it's far away. You're not building the life. You're stepping into the frequency where that life is already normal. And that frequency doesn't feel like effort. It feels like peace. It doesn't feel like needing. It feels like being. Because what you're really after isn't the thing. It's the feeling underneath it. The safety, the joy, the freedom, the permission to finally exhale. And the moment you connect to that feeling now, without waiting, you begin to align your entire system with the version of you who already lives there. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop performing worthiness. You just are. And this is what most people miss. That true visualization isn't about seeing the thing more clearly. It's about seeing yourself differently. Not as someone who might arrive, but as someone who already belongs. And the more you return to that identity, not mentally but somatically, the more your life begins to organize itself around that truth. You speak differently. You walk differently. You choose differently. Because you're no longer using the vision to escape the now. You're using the now to embody the vision. And that's when the timeline collapses. Because the moment you no longer need it to come, it comes faster. In the next section, you'll learn how to practice this, not as a performance, but as a sacred daily return to the self who no longer waits to be whole. Each morning, before the world rushes in, you sit. Not to plan, not to ask, not to reach. You sit to return. You place one hand over your heart. The other rests gently on your leg, palm open. You close your eyes. You breathe slowly. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nothing to achieve, only to arrive. Then you bring to mind a version of you, not in the distant future, not in fantasy, but the version of you who already lives, in alignment with the life you say you want. Not the image, the feeling. Not the outcome, the embodiment. This version of you isn't waiting. They aren't proving. They aren't convincing the universe to deliver. They are simply here, steady, present, clear. And for the next few moments, you become them. You breathe as them. You sit as them. You feel what they feel, not through force, but through memory. Because this isn't invention. It's remembrance. You're not building a life you don't deserve. You're tuning into the life that already lives within you. You let that feeling settle into your chest. The ease, the certainty, the calm. You imagine walking through your day from that place. How you move, how you speak, how you say no, how you say yes, how you hold yourself, not louder but deeper. This is not a performance. It's not a visualization for the sake of manifestation. It's a homecoming. Because the body remembers, even if the mind forgets. And the more often you practice this, not once, but daily, the more your nervous system begins to recognize it as truth. You stop needing to see results to feel aligned. You feel aligned, and the results follow. Because now you're not chasing, you're becoming. And in that becoming, something begins to shift, not outside of you, inside. You make different decisions. You attract different people. You hold your standards differently. Not because you're trying to manifest faster, but because you've stopped living in delay. Your life meets you at the level of your embodiment. And embodiment is not thinking. It's not hoping. It's not perfect scripting. It's feeling. This version of you is not a goal. It's a frequency. And each day you sit in it, you make it less theoretical. You make it real. To others, nothing may look different. But you know what's changed. You're no longer waiting for your life to arrive. You're living from the place where it already has. And in the next section, you'll step beyond even this, into the awareness that doesn't need to visualize at all. Because it is already full, already still, already home. Before the vision, before the breath, before the embodiment, there is something deeper. Something that does not visualize, does not manifest, does not need. It only watches. This is the stillness you forget when you're trying to become. The presence beneath all wanting, the quiet space behind every image, the witness that was here before the practice, before the desire, before the story of who you're meant to be. You don't arrive at this place. You notice it. Even now it is here as you breathe, as you listen, as you try to hold the vision just right. There is something in you that is not trying. It is simply aware. It is not concerned with whether or not the life you want appears. It is not measuring your progress. It is not grading your clarity. It does not live in time. It just is. And that is your freedom, because from this awareness, nothing is missing. From this awareness, there is no need to visualize the future. There is only what is: the air, the chest rising, the moment unfolding. There is no resistance here, no pressure, no urgency. And ironically, this is the very state from which everything begins to flow, not because you asked, but because you allowed. Allowed the now to be enough. Allowed the self to be whole. Allowed the universe to meet you without your hands tightening the steering wheel. This is the paradox. The moment you stop needing to manifest, you open the space for it to arrive, not as a reward, but as a natural response to your stillness. Because awareness does not create from effort. It creates from clarity. And clarity only lives here, in the presence that watches, receives, and allows. You are not visualizing in order to get something. You are returning to the self that needs nothing, and from that wholeness letting life unfold. The mind may still want to fix, the body may still tense. That's okay. You are not those reactions. You are the one who sees them. You are the space through which the image arises and dissolves. You are the quiet before the story. And in that quiet you remember. You don't need to see the outcome. You don't need to predict the timing. You are the field in which all things bloom and all things pass. You are not here to chase the vision. You are here to return to the one who no longer needs to. And in the final section, you'll learn how to live from that place, how to carry both your practice and your presence into a life that no longer waits to be fulfilled. You begin to walk through the world differently, not with force, not with performance, but with something quieter, more certain, more rooted. You stop reaching for signs. You stop needing proof. You stop asking the world to validate your path, because now you are not visualizing to get somewhere. You are visualizing to remember where you already are. You begin to trust the pauses. You slow down without guilt. You make decisions from alignment, not from lack. And somehow, without chasing anything, things begin to move. You say what needs to be said. You let go of what no longer matches. You follow what feels true, even if it makes no sense to anyone else. Because now, you are not creating a life. You are returning to it. To recap, each morning you sit in stillness. You place one hand on your heart. You breathe deeply. Then you bring to mind the version of yourself who already lives inside the life you once thought was far away. You breathe as them. You feel as them. You remember how they move through the world, not with urgency, but with presence. You do not perform this version, you become it, one breath at a time. And throughout the day, you carry the second practice, 30 seconds. A breath, a pause, a moment of witnessing. You stop, you soften, you feel yourself in space. You remember the one who sees, the one who does not need to manifest anything because they are already whole, already here, already home. This is how the shift holds. Not through discipline, but through return. You no longer visualize from distance. You embody from truth. You no longer wait for the vision to arrive. You act from the place where it already exists. And that's the difference the world begins to feel. You speak without shrinking. You create without second-guessing. You trust without explanation. And soon the gap disappears. Not because the life changed, but because the one living it did. You're not here to become worthy of your vision. You're here to remember you were always living inside it. You're not building a new future. You're dissolving the illusion that you ever left it behind. This is your return. Not to a destination, to a frequency, to a truth, to the self that no longer waits to live. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.